Welcome back to Centered Gaming. I'm Brent, and today we're going to look at using PSVR as a head-mounted display versus using a dedicated head-mounted display or HMD. If this is your first time watching, let me bring you up to speed by letting you know what I mean by head-mounted display or HMD for short. Imagine you have a VR headset, but it only shows 2D movies and TV shows, and maybe if you have the right model of HMD, it will display 3D movies and 3D games. That's essentially what it is. You don't need a computer or a PS4 or 5 to use one. It's a very convenient and user-friendly experience. There are lower-end ones like the Big Eyes H1 and H3. Here's the H3 right here, I've shown on a previous video. There's higher end ones like the Royal Moon. And as far as I can tell, Royal Moon is the best one for its picture quality, comfort, and the crispness of its built-in sound. Though, I don't have thousands of dollars to go out and buy every single one of these. I understand Sony made a halfway decent headset called the HMD T3 that they were hoping people would use to play 3D PS3 games. There are others like the Avogant Glyph, which seemed decent. Goovis sounds like it could give Royal Moon a run for its money. And lastly, the Cinera Edge Pro is advertised as the very best one for having the highest resolution at 1440p and 4 speakers in each ear cup of the headset to bring you authentic surround sound. I'm sure it'll wash your dishes and walk your dog if you asked it to. By the way, can someone please just send me a Cinera Edge Pro? All I see on it is advertisements labeled as reviews with comments at the bottom from a bunch of disappointed customers. I just wish some guy who just sits at a desk talking into a camera like me did a real review on one of these. Send me one to review and I'll be that guy. But until then, I'm not going to pay $600 to $900 just to satisfy a bit of curiosity. I love my Royal Moon, and that's that. On a more personal note, I don't think I ever would have gotten into HMDs if I'd only first seen a video of some British guy on YouTube hooking up his PSVR to his Xbox and it working. Tried it myself, and he was right. The irony of it all is I did not find out just how much the PSVR could really do until after I bought my HMDs. So after that, over the last following weeks, I did some experimenting with uses for the PSVR, had a whole lot of theories about what it could do, and planned so many videos regarding it that I nearly passed out just thinking about it. So today I am just going to talk about the pros and cons about PSVR versus the Royal Moon, give you my final review on both. Then following, I'm going to briefly explain some of the tricks I have learned to do with them. Some of them you have already seen in my previous videos. I just need to get all this stuff out of my head and free myself from the all-consuming black spaghetti, if only for a short time. Now, both the Royal Moon and the PSVR have two small 1080p displays that give you an illusion of a big screen TV or movie screen in front of you. Overall, the Royal Moon picture quality is better. But what the PSVR lacks in picture quality, it more than makes up for in options. In the PS4 and PS5 menu, you can select between 3 sizes of screens for your viewing, have a wider range of brightness settings, and of course, you can do VR. Then we come to sound. The PSVR doesn't have its own headphones attached. See? None. Oh, by the way, this is what I mean by black spaghetti. It's not licorice. It's being buried in wires, just in case you were wondering. But, luckily, if you're playing on Xbox One or Series X and S, you just plug headphones into the controller and you have your Atmos or Sonic headphone sound. Unfortunately, if you're using PSVR on PS5, you can't plug a set of headphones into the controller to get the 3D sound. That's disabled when PSVR is attached. I have discovered, though, how to patch in 3D sound from the PS5 controller when using the Royal Moon, but it's kind of a pain to do, and I'm sure most of you won't bother. I do have a video on it if you want to try. See, even though I really like that Royal Moon has its own headphones, and I want to show it to you again, I mean, these are extremely good in my opinion. I haven't been able to find the exact specs on them, but it's also one of the things that I don't like about it, because unless I do some sort of trick to patch in sound into it, or wear something underneath the headphones, I have only stereo sound. So unless I am using it on Xbox with their Dolby Atmos and Sonic headphone sound, which automatically comes processed through the console, as long as you have HDMI sound set to headset format and the headset format set to either Sonic or Atmos, you can do that, and you're good to go. Not so much with other things. God bless Microsoft for being able to do that, providing us with, with that. Now, let's talk about 3D. Officially, and I mean officially in all capital letters, PSVR does not do 3D gaming. It should, but it doesn't. I do have a trick on how you can with PS3, but for the life of me, can't figure out how to get it to do on PS4 yet. But so what? PS4 has something like 12 3D games total, and PS5 has none. Xbox Series X doesn't do any either. With the Royal Moon, you just plug it into your game console and it just plain works. That's the difference. It really sucks that Sony didn't just plain make 3D games work on PSVR with their own consoles. If I could figure out a way to do it, a multi-billion-dollar company like Sony sure could have included that feature. Let's also talk about lens adjustment. At first, I liked how my two HMD sets had adjustments for your prescription in the lenses, and I hated that PSVR made you wear your glasses underneath. But since making that last comment on my second video, I've got new glasses. And it's not so bad. Various people will have various opinions on this, though. So, my final word is, if you don't care about 3D gaming, and most people don't anymore, at least not the developers, and if your use of the PSVR and cinema mode is mostly to watch 3D Blu-rays, then please just save yourself some money and get a PSVR, and you can do some awesome HMD gaming not only on PlayStation but on other consoles as well. With the PSVR 2 around the corner, you can get an officially refurbished by Sony PSVR headset and camera for about $120. People are asking nowadays for about $250 for their used Royal Moons, with new ones going at around $300 to $600. If you want to take a small risk based on YouTube reviews, get an Avagant Glyph and see how you like it. Guvis seems fairly expensive at the time, but at least there are decent reviews for it. Don't bother with big eyes at all. Get a PSVR instead. If you have a ton of money and want to take a real big leap of faith, get a Cinera Edge Pro. And if you're feeling generous, send that Cinera Edge Pro to me. Now, I was going to do a long video on how to get PSVR to play 3D games on PlayStation 3. There's really no need to. It's the same technique you use to get PSVR to play 3D Blu-rays using Xbox One. You can watch that video and get the concept. You simply start out with the Royal Moon attached, which is a 3D device, play a 3D Blu-ray, and since the PS3 already thinks you are watching on a 3D TV, you leave the HDMI connected to the PS3, and on the other end, switch it from Royal Moon to PSVR. Then you can plug the Royal Moon into the TV output on your PSVR so you and someone else can both play. I am working on another way to fool the PS3. I just don't have the equipment for it, but maybe using some of those adapters that converts your TV into a 3D TV or an inexpensive 3D projector might work as a substitute. I don't know. I have no idea where to find the former, and I have no use for the latter. If you want to use PSVR to play on the Wii console, first you need an adapter. And by the way, preferably get one that has a 3.5 millimeter jack on it. And also, you need to start out with the PSVR connected to the PS4 console. Then switch the HDMI cable to the Wii while still keeping the USB connection to the PS4 and leaving that console on. Just whatever you do, find some other way to get the sound than using the PSVR 3.5 millimeter output, because you will get the sound from PS4 if you do that. Now, you don't have to do such tricks with the Royal Moon. And I guess that's a valid point for buying a head-mounted display. You don't have to do any of this sort of rigging. But if you're willing to do the rigging, I will say it's very rewarding and will save you a lot of money. Thanks for listening to my little ramble today. I hope you found something I said helpful. If you have a question or comment, feel free. Like and subscribe for more tips, tricks, and insights. But until next time, I want you to have fun gaming and stay centered doing it.